A 5-year-old team just did something nobody thought was possible. They won 4 races in the first 6 races of the season. They beat the teams that have owned NASCAR for a decade. Michael Jordan's 23XI Racing is on a historic run, and the sports elite are scrambling to figure out what just happened. This isn't about winning races. It's about control changing hands completely. For over a decade, 3 teams controlled NASCAR completely. Hendrick Motorsports, Gibbs Racing, Team Penske. Money, people, resources, hundreds of employees each, decades of history, championship after championship. They owned the sport. Since 2005, these 3 teams won the vast majority of championships. Last year alone, they won 27 of 36 races. The sport was locked up. Nobody else could compete, or so everyone thought. But a team that didn't exist 5 years ago started beating them. 23XI Racing forced into the conversation. Suddenly, the garage couldn't talk about anything else. Tyler Reddick started 2026 by winning the Daytona 500, the most prestigious race in NASCAR, then Atlanta, then Circuit of the Americas. He became the first driver in the modern era to win the opening 3 races. Nobody had ever done that before in 50 years. Not Dale Earnhardt, not Bill Elliott. Reddick came from Richard Childress Racing before joining 23XI. He was already elite. 3 wins at RCR, multiple playoff appearances, a top 5 talent in the garage. Then 23XI gave him better equipment and strategy. Suddenly, he had the tools to match his elite ceiling. He became unstoppable. On March 22, 2026, he won again at Darlington Raceway. That was his 4th win in 6 races. After 1 month, Reddick had a gap of nearly 2 full races in the points. He was dominating in ways NASCAR hadn't seen in years. 23XI Racing is owned by Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin. Jordan is the NBA legend, 6-time champion, considered the greatest basketball player ever. Hamlin is a 3-time Daytona 500 winner and top NASCAR driver. Together, they founded 23XI Racing in 2020 and started racing in 2021. The team name means something. 23 is Jordan's famous basketball number. 11 is Hamlin's NASCAR number. They combined them to create the identity. It represents both men, both their careers, both their competitive fire. For years, people didn't think 23XI could compete with the Giants. The big 3 teams had been winning for over a decade. They dominated the sport. In 2025 alone, they won 27 of 36 races. The sport seemed locked up. Success belonged to the established powers. Outsiders didn't stand a chance. But 23XI kept building. Tyler Reddick was hired as the lead driver. A state-of-the-art facility called Airspeed was built in Huntersville, North Carolina. All employees received custom Air Jordan sneakers. The workplace culture drew people who wanted to work there. People and equipment got investment even when things looked uncertain. Jordan and Hamlin believed in the vision. They refused to accept that tradition meant permanence. Last year, 2025, was brutal for 23XI. The team was caught in a legal battle with NASCAR over charter agreements and revenue sharing. A fight for survival. It created uncertainty. Would they survive? The team raced without a full charter. That meant less money and stability. Other teams called Reddick, offering better opportunities and more resources. But Reddick said no. He stayed loyal. They won only 1 race all season. Bubba Wallace won the Brickyard 400. It felt like 23XI was stuck, but Jordan and Hamlin made a promise. They would pay employees through 2026 no matter what happened. That promise mattered. In December, NASCAR settled the lawsuit. 23XI won. They got permanent charters. The uncertainty ended. That's when something clicked. With the legal battle behind them, 23XI focused on racing. Employees came back energized. Jordan showed up at races. He was all in. On March 22nd, Reddick qualified on pole at Darlington. His teammate Bubba Wallace qualified second. 23XI swept the front row. The competition knew what was coming. But knowing and stopping are 2 different things. The race told a story of survival and strategy. Reddick's car started having problems on lap 1. Electrical failure. The battery wouldn't charge. He had to shut off cooling fans to save power. The temperature inside climbed dangerously. He was sweating with no relief. His cooling suit broke mid-race. His brakes started to fail. He was struggling to keep the car on track, and he was leading while dealing with all of this. Most drivers would have given up. Reddick kept pushing. His crew changed the battery. Reddick dropped back. Brad Keselowski took the lead. The race looked impossible to win, but Reddick had a different plan. He ran longer on tires than everyone else. While others pitted, Reddick stayed out. Late in the race, fresh tires gave him the speed he needed. He caught Keselowski and passed him. With 27 laps remaining, Reddick took the lead. He held it. He won by 5.8 seconds, one of the most impressive performances of his career. He overcame mechanical chaos and still won. Michael Jordan walked down pit road to celebrate. He hugged Reddick. "I know never to give up," Reddick said after the race. He had proved it. Meanwhile, Hendrick Motorsports was collapsing. The team that dominated for a decade couldn't keep pace. Alex Bowman missed races with vertigo, a medical condition that left him unable to race safely. Justin Allgaier had to fill in, a good driver, but not an elite one. Allgaier qualified 15th at Darlington. 15th? Not even top 10. Chase Elliott qualified 3rd. Elliott is one of Hendrick's stars, a competitive driver with wins and accolades, but he failed pre-qualifying inspection twice. Twice! That meant losing pit selection. That meant his car chief got ejected from the race. That meant starting without advantages. He finished 21st. Kyle Larson, another Hendrick driver, qualified 4th. But he was off pace in practice. The car didn't feel right. The setup wasn't working. The team was struggling to figure out the new package. The team that dominated couldn't keep pace with 2311. People asked if 2311 had a secret. Were they cheating? The answer was simpler. They were just thinking better than the competition. Denny Hamlin explained it on his podcast. The big three teams have nearly triple the workforce of 2311. The big teams have mountains of data and hundreds of voices in meetings. Too many opinions. Decisions get complicated. They follow old patterns because that's what worked before. 2311's smaller group moved faster. They changed direction without approval layers. When they got technical data from their partner Gibbs Racing, they looked at it. Then they decided, no, not for us. We're finding our own way. That independent thinking won races at Darlington. Size doesn't win alone. Smart thinking wins races. Strategy wins races. Superior decision-making wins races. 2311 proved it with less equipment, but better strategy. Reddick's contract is in the final year, but Hamlin said a new deal is coming soon. Other teams called Reddick during the lawsuit, offering better opportunities and more money. He said no. He stayed loyal to Jordan and Hamlin. He believed in what they were building. Now that loyalty is paying off.